If you call somebody the N word on social media, what should be the appropriate punishment? Getting kicked off that social media? Getting banned from all social media? If you're a student, should you get kicked out of school? What about straight to jail? You're out of here. Welcome to Escaping the Echo Chamber. That's the situation that actually occurred, where a white student, presumably a non-black student, yes, a non-black student in Connecticut, they're not, because they're not identifying the student, he was a minor, posted on Snapchat concerning a black student. Why is this N-word in my class? Why is he not in chains? Clearly, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's racist as hell. Let me say something. I care deeply. I deeply care about my community. I deeply care about the black community. I love my people. I love black people. I do not. I despise racism, and I am aware that it is much more prevalent than people will let on that it is. That being said, I do not believe that racism, white supremacy, and getting rid of racism and white supremacy should be the black community's number one concern. Because what we have to realize is what that is. What we're talking about with racism, white supremacy, we're talking about somebody, an individual or a group of individuals, believing something, having an ideology that white people are superior to black people or black people are inferior, and there's so racism, hatred for black people. These are ideologies, these are ideas, these are beliefs that people hold. Now, a person's belief, as much as I disagree with it, how do I control it? Do I want to control it? And that's where I begin. I don't want to necessarily control somebody else's. I may disagree with it. I may debate certain belief systems. Certain belief systems I'm not going to touch. For instance, if you believe that me as a black man, I am intellectually inferior, there's not really a lot of reason for conversation past that point, because there's not between us. Like, I can have conversations with other people who don't believe that, but there's not a whole lot of conversation. Like, I don't feel the need to justify my existence to somebody who doesn't think I should exist. What I am concerned about is making sure that person who doesn't think I should exist, who doesn't think I am worthy of dignity, respect, of, human compassion and being treated as a human being, whoever believes that, I want to make sure it is my business to make sure that that person does not have power over me, does not have the power to adversely affect my life. That's what my concern is. Their beliefs are their beliefs. What they do with it is what I'm concerned about. So I want to make sure that that person, that individual, or that group of individuals, that system doesn't pick up arms and try to effectuate the end of the existence of black people at their own hands. That I make sure of. If they want to believe that black people are inferior and sit in their home and use the N-word with their family members all day long, that's their business. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. But I'm not particularly interested in trying to control them or even care what they think. I want to make sure those people are not taking action against me or against other black people as a result of those ideas. If they're in charge of schools, if they're in police departments, in the military, I don't want these people having power over my life. Cool. So when I see a story like this, that this happened, and then when I see the reaction, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Expelling the student from school, that's I'm somewhat more neutral on. Suspending them, okay. Arresting that student, hell no. Hell to the no. Like, I don't even understand how such a statute can exist in in contravention of the First Amendment. Like, the First Amendment says speech is speech. Like, that's speech. I don't care how hateful it is. I don't care how disgusting it is. I don't care how much I disagree with it. It's speech. Like, I don't understand how that law exists. And just because it's being targeted against black people does not mean I am going to support that law. And it doesn't even seem to be done in the interest of black people. Because here's the thing. If this person believes that, and if you've seen it, I've talked about this, I am more in support of people expressing such beliefs so that I know who they are. I don't want them to have to hide their beliefs. I want them to be open with it so I know, okay, we got to keep an eye on this one. We don't want, if this person comes anywhere near the levers of power, number one, we need to significantly lessen the amount of power that's at these levers of power. But if this person comes anywhere close to it, and there's if there's a social media trail of breadcrumbs to this person's repugnant beliefs, I want to know, like, yeah, that clown, we need to watch. That clown, we may even need to take action against to make sure that they don't stay in office, that they don't have any power over us, like whether it's a police department, whether it's a government office, a political office, whether it's a bureaucracy. It's like, okay, we don't want this person anywhere near power that can affect our lives. If they have their own money, if they own their own store, okay, we want to make sure we're not shopping at their establishment, restaurant, clothing, whatever. Like, we want to give them no play. So, like, that's where the canceling, yeah, like we will cancel that motherfucker. Why? Because we're not trying to enrich that motherfucker. We're not trying to see them be successful, and we're not trying to give them more influence, more power to actually do something with those beliefs. But throwing a person in prison, locking them up, arresting them for their words, for their beliefs, no matter how much I hate those beliefs, is something I do not support. And it's a level of power I do not want this government having. Whether it's the federal government, whether it's a state government, whether it's a local county government, I do not want any government in these United States having that power to arrest people on the basis of their speech. And if any black person is watching, it's like, no, you sound like a sellout. Listen, do you really think, aside from the arguments I've given, that, all this leads to is for racist people not to voice their racism? Because that's not a good thing. Like, racist people hiding in plain sight and now feeling worried about actually voicing their opinions and just in the shadows voicing them doesn't actually improve the conditions for black people, because they're still racist, they still exist, but now we don't see them coming. So aside from that, to all the black people who may think that this is a good idea, do you really think that a law that criminalizes speech isn't going to be used against us? Whether it's the gun laws, who's the highest population in prisons for gun laws? Whether it's the drug laws, who's the number one victims of the war on drugs? Whenever they make a law, it is used against black people. So even if you think that it's a good idea to stop racism. Allowing the government to criminalize speech will not be used for our defense exclusively, and not even primarily. It will quickly do a 180 degrees and land on our heads in a heartbeat. I promise you. I am a firm believer that the First Amendment exists and should be respected by government. I don't have to like what they're saying, and I encourage black people, if they're saying it, don't even get mad. Don't even strike out. Don't punch somebody in the face. Like, unfortunately, this young brother who is now facing murder charges because you have some old racist, decided to come out his face. I'm saddened that this brother's about to lose his life now because he let this racist scumbag get him off his square. He let this racist scumbag basically control. Like, just this dude was old anyway. This dude was old. This dude could have been dead within a year anyway. He could have just died of his own ignorance. But now this young brother has lost his entire future. Potentially has lost his entire future because he let that word control him. I'm not saying, oh, just act like it's nothing happening. No. But remember, if they're using a word and that's it, keep it in perspective. If they're using a word and threatening behavior, protect yourself to the fullest extent of the law. Be prepared to protect yourself, and when you have the opportunity to protect yourself within the complete scope of the law, do so to the fullest extent allowed by law. So if somebody's using the N-word and they're reaching for something or they're making threats, and the law allows you to protect yourself with potentially deadly force, protect yourself to the fullest extent allowed by law. But if they're just using words, I would not take my eyes off them. Get out of the situation. Don't put your hands on them. Do not put yourself now at risk of being locked up, of losing your freedom behind that word. But protect yourself if there is a threat, if you feel threatened. If there is no threat and it's just the words, don't have conversation. Just move. Keep it moving. Like I said, be aware of your surroundings. Make sure that there is no additional threat if that word is being used or any other racist terms or words are being used. But do not put yourself in a situation where your freedom is at risk because some racist decides to show out. Because there's racists who will do that, knowing full well that the law will come down on you. They will do that. They will enjoy watching you get upset, watching you get riled up. They will take a butt whooping. And then when the police arrest you, they will win again by seeing you get locked up. So no, I'm glad the school is not taking it lightly, is not just brushing it under the rug, but I do not believe that young person should be arrested. I don't believe an adult should be arrested behind using racial slurs or posting it on social media. Like I said, this is not a scope of law that will exist exclusively or even primarily for our defense. So I urge y'all, please be careful what we're wishing for, be careful what we're supporting, because this is not good and does not end well for us. Thank you for checking out this episode. As always, give me a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. If you realize that there's a bigger picture, and that we have to be on our square. We have to be paying attention, and we can't just, react. Please subscribe to the channel, because this is what I talk about. I talk about things that may seem good, may seem beneficial, but there's actually a greater risk, down the line, a greater agenda, a bigger agenda, and consequences that will occur. If, however, you think I'm wrong, if you think that, hey, I don't care, they're racist, lock them up. I don't like racism. I want to end racism, if that's what you feel. And if you feel I'm wrong, feel free to give me a thumbs down. But don't just give me a thumbs down and run away. Give me a thumbs down and say why. Because I want to address it in the comment section, or in a future video. Because I assure you, I'm not I'm not a member of Conservative Inc. I'm not Candace Owens. I'm not Brandon Tatum. I'm not ABL. I'm not sitting here defending some racist because I hate black people. I love black people. I want to see us succeed, but I do not want us to allow us to be used to do things like to give the government just greater power over our lives, and to be even to the ability to criminalize speech. Like, we cannot let ourselves be used in that manner. Thank you for checking out the episode. I'll see you next time.